The Victor Gyokeres transfer drama. New twist as United gets second chance. Picture this, you're a Manchester United fan who thought the Victor Gyokeres ship had sailed. Arsenal seemed to have wrapped up the deal, the player wanted to go there, and United had apparently moved on to other targets. Case closed, right? Wrong. In the latest twist that nobody saw coming, Manchester United have been given another chance to hijack Arsenal's move for the Swedish goal machine. But here's the catch. Even though the door is open, Gyokuris still only has eyes for one club. Welcome to the most complicated transfer saga of the summer, where opportunity meets desire and creates pure drama. Who is Viktor Gyokeres and why does everyone want him? Before we dive into the transfer chaos, let's talk about why Viktor Gyokeres has become football's hottest property. This isn't just another striker having a good season. This is a goal machine who has completely transformed himself into one of Europe's most feared forwards. The numbers tell an incredible story. In just 102 games for Sporting Camp, Gyokuris has scored 97 goals. Yes, you read that right. Nearly a goal per game over 2 full seasons. When was the last time you saw stats like that from any striker not named Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo? But here's what makes it even more impressive. Gyokuris didn't arrive at Sporting as some world-famous superstar. He came from Coventry City in the Championship for about 20 million euros. Many people had never even heard of him. Yet within months, he was scoring for fun and helping Sporting win back-to-back Portuguese league titles. The 27-year-old Swede brings more than just goals. He's strong, fast, good in the air, and can create chances for his teammates. He's the complete package that both Manchester United and Arsenal desperately need. But the big question is, which club will actually get him? Arsenal's deal hits unexpected roadblocks. Let's be honest here. Arsenal have been doing their homework on Gyokuris for months. While other clubs were still watching YouTube highlights, the Gunners were already deep in negotiations with Sporting CP. The London club appeared to have everything sewn up nicely. Reports suggested they had agreed on a package worth around 73.5 million euros, roughly 64 million pounds, for the Swedish striker. They even secured a 5-year contract with Gyokuris himself. Everything looked perfect. But then something unexpected happened. The deal that seemed so close to completion suddenly hit the brakes. Reports from Portugal began suggesting that Sporting CP might want even more money than originally agreed. Were they getting greedy? Were they using Arsenal to drive up the price? Or were there genuine concerns about the deal structure? This is where football transfers get messy. What looks like a done deal on paper can quickly become complicated when lawyers, agents, and club executives start arguing over the fine details. Arsenal thought they had their man, but Sporting CP apparently had other ideas. The delay was all Manchester United needed to see an opportunity. After missing out on Liam Delap earlier in the transfer window, United were still desperately hunting for a new striker. And who better to target than the player their own manager, Ruben Amaram, had helped turn into a goal machine. United get their second chance. Just when Arsenal fans thought they could start planning where to put Gyokuris' name on their new shirts, Manchester United received some interesting news. Intermediaries, the behind-the-scenes people who make transfers happen, reached out to United with an offer. The message was simple. Arsenal's deal has stalled, and there might be room for United to jump back into the race. Some reports even suggested that United were preparing to submit an offer worth up to 80 million euros, around 69 million pounds. That's significantly more than what Arsenal had agreed to pay. Now, this is where Ruben Amaram's connection to Gyokuris becomes really important. The United manager didn't just coach Gyokuris at Sporting CP, he helped transform him from a decent striker into one of Europe's most wanted players. They have a great relationship, and Amaram knows exactly how to get the best out of him. From United's perspective, this looked like the perfect opportunity. They could offer more money than Arsenal, they had a manager who understood the player perfectly, and they could solve their striker problems in one move. What could go wrong? But here's where the story gets complicated. Having the chance to make an offer and actually getting the player are two very different things. And Gyokuris had already made his feelings very clear about where he wanted to play. The player's heart is still set on Arsenal. When Fabrizio Romano speaks, smart football fans listen. The Italian journalist has built his reputation on getting transfer stories right when others get them wrong. So when he provided an update on the Gyokuri situation, people paid close attention. Romano confirmed that yes, Manchester United have been offered the chance to sign Gyokuris. The intermediaries are aware that his move to Arsenal has hit some bumps, and they think there might be an opportunity for United to swoop in. Sporting CP might even be encouraging this interest because more competition usually means more money for them. But here's the crucial part that United fans won't want to hear. Gyokuri's only desire is still to sign for Arsenal. Despite all the complications, despite the stalled negotiations, despite United's potential interest, the player is still fighting to make his Arsenal move happen. Why is Arsenal still his preferred choice? The answer might be simpler than you think. Gyokuris wants to play Champions League football next season. Arsenal can offer that after finishing second in the Premier League. Manchester United, who finished 8th, cannot. For a 27-year-old striker in his prime, Champions League football isn't just about prestige. It's about proving himself against the best players in the world. It's about those magical European nights that every footballer dreams of. Arsenal can offer that experience. United, at least for this season, cannot. However, there's an interesting twist that gives United fans a glimmer of hope. Sources have revealed that Gyokuris did tell United he would be open to joining them this summer, but only if his Arsenal transfer falls apart completely. So United aren't completely out of the picture. They're just the backup option. United's other striker options take a hit. So if Gyokuris is still dreaming of Arsenal, what are Manchester United's other options? The news here isn't great for United fans either. Nicholas Jackson from Chelsea had been mentioned as a potential target. The 24-year-old Senegalese striker has shown promise at Stamford Bridge, and reports suggested he wasn't entirely happy there. BBC Sport even reported that United had begun talks with Jackson's agent. But just as that story was gaining momentum, reliable journalist Ben Jacobs poured cold water all over it. He revealed that United are currently unlikely to bid for Nicholas Jackson, and that a lot would have to change for that to alter in the coming weeks. Why the sudden change of heart? The answer probably comes down to money. Chelsea rate Jackson very highly. Some reports suggest they could demand as much as £100 million before selling. Even more conservative estimates put his value at around £50 million. Either way, that's expensive for a player who isn't guaranteed to solve United's problems. This leaves United in a tricky position. They've missed out on their top target in Gyokuris, at least for now, and their backup option in Jackson looks too expensive. After already announcing the signing of Brian Bumo, United need to find a striker who can provide genuine competition and goals. The good news is that they do have other options being discussed. Benjamin Sesko from RB Leipzig is emerging as a prime contender. The young Slovenian has been a long-term target for United, and they're reportedly set to accelerate their interest in the coming weeks. There are also links to a Paris Saint-Germain striker, though details remain sketchy. But here's the thing that United fans should remember. Sometimes missing out on your first choice can work out better in the long run. How many times have we seen clubs sign their second choice, only for that player to become a huge success? Arsenal's calm response to the transfer drama. While all the speculation was flying around, how did Arsenal react? In typical Mikel Arteta fashion, the manager gave absolutely nothing away when asked about Gyokuris during a press conference in Singapore. Arsenal are currently on their pre-season tour of Asia, preparing for a friendly against AC Milan. When reporters asked Arteta directly about the Gyokuris situation, he delivered the most diplomatic non-answer possible. I cannot comment on any player who is not part of our group yet. But reading between the lines, there were some encouraging signs for Arsenal fans. Arteta mentioned that the club had already made 4 new signings: Martin Zubimendi, Kepa, Christian Norgard, and Noni Madueke. He seemed pleased with their business so far but admitted they were still looking to add more depth and quality to the squad. When asked if any new players might join the tour in Asia, Arteta was optimistic. There's still a long time in the window and we are still seeking. In terms of numbers, we are short and we have to improve the depth and quality of the squad. This doesn't confirm that Gyokuris is coming, but it certainly suggests that Arsenal aren't panicking about missing out on their targets. They seem confident that their summer business will get done. The financial details that tell the real story. Let's talk money for a moment because that's often what decides these big transfers. The latest report suggests that Arsenal had agreed to pay around €73.5 million, roughly £64 million, for Gyokuris. That's a significant jump from earlier reports that put the fee closer to £55 million. But here's where it gets interesting. If United really are preparing an offer worth up to €80 million, around £69 million, they would be offering significantly more money than Arsenal. That extra £5 to £6 million might not sound like much, but it could be the difference between Sporting CP accepting or rejecting a bid. However, money isn't everything in modern football transfers. Sure, it helps, but player preference often trumps financial considerations. Look at some recent examples. Jude Bellingham chose Real Madrid over other clubs that offered similar money because he wanted to play for that specific club. Declan Rice picked Arsenal over Manchester City partly because he felt more wanted there. Gyokuris seems to be in a similar mindset. Even if United offer more money, even if they have a manager who knows him perfectly, he still wants to play for Arsenal. Why? Because Arsenal represent everything he's looking for right now: Champions League football, a clear playing style that suits him, and a project that's moving in the right direction. For Arsenal, the slightly lower fee actually works in their favor. They get their man without overpaying, and they can invest the saved money in other areas of the squad. The smart business if they can get the deal over the line. What happens next in this transfer saga? So where does this leave us with just weeks remaining in the transfer window? The situation is more complex than ever, but there are some clear patterns emerging. Arsenal remain in the strongest position despite the recent complications. They have an agreement with the player, they've been working on this deal for months, and Gyokuris clearly wants to join them. The delay seems to be about final details with Sporting CP, rather than any fundamental problems with the transfer. Manchester United have been given a genuine opportunity to hijack the deal, but they face a massive uphill battle. Even if they offer more money, even if Amaram's presence helps, they're fighting against a player who has already decided where he wants to go. But here's what could change everything. If Arsenal's deal completely falls apart, United would suddenly become the frontrunner. Gyokuris has apparently told them he would be open to joining if his Arsenal move collapses. That's not exactly a ringing endorsement, but it's better than a flat rejection. For United fans, the key question is whether they should keep hoping for the Gyokuris deal or focus their energy on other targets like Benjamin Sesko. Sesko might actually be a better long-term choice anyway. He's younger, has enormous potential, and would probably be cheaper than both Gyokuris and Jackson. The next few weeks will be crucial for both clubs. Arsenal need to sort out their issues with Sporting CP and get this deal over the line. United need to decide whether to keep chasing Gyokuris or move on to more realistic targets. And Gyokuris needs to keep performing well for Sweden while this circus continues around him. The bigger picture for both clubs. This transfer battle tells us something important about where both Arsenal and Manchester United are right now. Arsenal are showing the kind of planning and preparation that successful clubs need. They identified their target early, worked on the deal for months, and got the player excited about joining their project. Manchester United, on the other hand, seem to be reacting rather than planning. They're being linked with multiple strikers without any clear strategy about which one they actually want. This isn't necessarily criticism, but it does show the difference between the two clubs' approaches. Arsenal are building something special under Mikel Arteta. They've got a clear vision of how they want to play and the types of players they need. Gyokuris fits perfectly into that system. He's the kind of clinical finisher who could take them from Champions League contenders to title winners. United are still trying to figure out their identity under their current management. They need to sort out their existing squad before they can successfully integrate new signings. This might actually work in their favor with other targets, but it has cost them in the Gyokuris race. Final thoughts. Why this transfer saga shows modern football's complexity. The Victor Gyokeres transfer saga is about much more than just one player moving from one club to another. It's a perfect example of how complicated modern football transfers have become, where having the most money doesn't guarantee you get the player you want. For Arsenal fans, this situation should actually be encouraging. Yes, The deal has hit some bumps, but the fact that Gyokuris is still fighting to join them despite interest from other clubs shows how attractive their project has become. A few years ago, would a top European striker have chosen Arsenal over Manchester United? Probably not. But Mikel Arteta has built something special that players want to be part of. For United fans, this should be a wake-up call about the importance of Champions League qualification. Missing out on Europe's premier competition doesn't just cost you money. It costs you your ability to attract the very best players. Gyokuris wants to test himself at the highest level, and right now, United can't offer that. But here's what both sets of fans should remember. Transfers like this create opportunities throughout the market. If Gyokuris goes to Arsenal, it might free up other strikers for United to pursue. If United miss out on Jackson due to his price tag, Chelsea might lower their demands. The transfer window is like a complex puzzle where moving one piece affects all the others. The most important lesson from this whole saga is about player power in modern football. Clubs can offer all the money they want, but if a player has his heart set on a particular destination, that's usually where he ends up. Gyokuris has made his choice, and unless something dramatic changes, he'll be wearing Arsenal red next season. And based on his incredible goal-scoring record, 97 goals in 102 games for Sporting Camp, that should make Arsenal a genuine title contender and give Premier League defenders plenty of sleepless nights. Sometimes the best transfers are the ones where everyone knows exactly where they want to go from the very beginning. Chat control Sonnet 4.